communicate the same message all at once. There's a couple of things that are brewing here, and they wanted to focus on these career nights. I am going to try and get you over, so you can just email or text me. The last 2 weeks, we won't go and waste everybody's time going person by person today, but I will unmute everybody because I think Paul, I think Ken, there's a few folks that had some questions or some things they want to talk about in the group. So we'll open it up, and I'll unmute everybody here in a minute so that we can certainly do that. But please send me your individual meeting reports via quick text or email, because we are tracking those and taking a peek at some other mechanisms to track them in the future too. That might be a little more simpler for everybody. So with that said, if you haven't heard already, and I didn't see an email yet this morning, but I could have missed it, but there will be one today. For those of you in the UP, you might have heard already because it's in your neck of the woods, but Coldwell Banker Professionals out of Escanaba has now joined the Schmidt family of companies. For those of you that know that particular brand, they've been in Coldwell Banker franchise for 30 years. It's a small, really large chunk of the market in Escanaba with some really good agents, and Darlene and her crew are officially now part of our family, effective on Friday. So you'll see Darlene joining some of our calls and getting in on some of our things that we do on a routine basis. And if you get an opportunity to send an email or Facebook friend any of those agents up there, again, it's Coldwell Banker Professionals out of Escanaba, but they are now becoming Coldwell Banker Schmidt. So really excited to have them. We spent a couple of days up there last week in the UP. I was with Marquette for a day and then headed over to Escanaba and welcome that crew to the family. So it's kind of a neat deal. Some of you might have heard that again through the grapevine, but I think it'll be Facebook official and emailed to the entire agent base, if I'm not mistaken. So that's first on the docket. Second on the docket is Traverse City has Launchpad starting on Wednesday. The order is a little bit different this go because we're starting off with Gene on Wednesday, and then I'll be conducting the Thursday, Friday sessions. So if you did get that email, make sure you take a peek at that email. Gene has a little schedule outlined for this Launchpad. And then here in Grand Rapids, the Lakeshore, next Monday begins another of the 2-week regional session in Holland. So again, if we have some new agents joining us, make sure they're joining and getting in on either one of those trainings. Again, we're trying to do them monthly. And if you recall from our managers meeting, we have 66 of 176 for the year. So basically, 88 would get us to the halfway point. So as of July 1, it'd be great if we could get to that 88 number. That means, if my memory or my math is right, we need to get 22 new agents on the rosters between now and July 1. So that takes me into why I wanted to do our meetings today combined, was to kind of reiterate this career night initiative that's been headed up by Ken Schmidt, and wanted to, again, make sure when I mute everybody, make sure that if there's questions, kind of get you thinking. We have a couple, 3 weeks before they take place. I saw this morning the talent attraction PowerPoint that was updated. So we'll be getting you the resources for your advertisements, etc. So wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page for that, and that you kind of understand what the direction is that we're headed. So with that said, I want to repeat for those folks that may not have been on the call, at the managers meeting, what I tried to do, everybody, was instead of doing these career nights, and again, I'm okay with a jazzier name. So if someone comes up with a jazzier name than a career night, we're all ears. So there's no, we don't have to go with this label. But everyone is going to do them on 3 Thursdays for the next 3 months. And those dates, again, for those of you that didn't write them down or maybe missed the meeting: Thursday, June 22nd, Thursday, July 20, and Thursday, August 17. And the question was, are those flexible dates? No, we'd like to make sure we're maintaining some consistency here. So unless there's something extreme in terms of a conflict or something going on, please reach out to me. But I would like to do our best effort to have this a statewide initiative, all on the same day. Now, in terms of what might make sense for you in your local markets, the times could vary because some people think that it's better to do it from 5 to 6:30. Some people think it's better to do it from 4 to 6. Some people think it's better to do it from 6 to 7:30. So I'm going to leave that up to these groups to decide your timing, and then you'll have to, again, put your location and your time for your event and embed that into each of the marketing pieces that are being sent to you for social media, for Craigslist, for Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Maybe even for your sign that you put out front. If you have a sign out front, perhaps you want to do something in a small newspaper ad, although, again, with Tracy, as we pull out of that, I'm not sure that we want to go down that road, but maybe a small classified ad makes sense in some markets. So, again, here are the teams for those dates. And what we've done is, based on market or some market overlaps, there are some teams that have been put together, and then there are some teams or some offices that have been put together and some offices that are still individuals because of the distance between them and another office. For those of you that might be by yourselves, you have some extra duty on your hand because I'm asking you to reach out to one of us, that being Jeff Greenway, Tracy, Carrie, Jason, Judy, Mike Schmidt, Fred Schmidt, Mike Dornovan, Melissa Butis. Anybody that you think might be willing to participate in your career night and support your effort, we would be glad to do so. So it's kind of first come, first serve for you guys. You guys got to reach out and schedule one of us, whoever your best person is you think maybe that might help you in your market. Reach out to that person and get them on your schedule and you on their schedule. So with that said, I want to go over this again, these lists, and make sure there's no confusion and kind of give you a little bit of a further instruction, and then I'll open up the mics. So first, starting down in the Lakeshore, we're going to have Holland Summit, Saugatuck, and Holland 16th Street grouped together. Grand Haven and Muskegon grouped together. Whitehall and Hart grouped together. Fremont, Newaygo, and Sparta grouped together. Cascade, East Grand Rapids, 28th Street, and Rockford all together. Then the group from TC, 522, 402, and the newly Elk Rapids office that Ken is guiding here as we transition some agents into Elk Rapids. So 522, 402, and Elk Rapids, that will be one group. Petoskey and Harbor Springs will be another group. Charlevoix, Boyne City, and Bel Air. There's a trio right there. Charlevoix, Boyne City, and Bel Air. Houghton and Higgins Lake combined. Cedarville and St. Ignace combined. Leland, Glen Arbor, and Sutton's Bay. There's another trio, all one group. Indian River and Sheboygan. And then we get into our individuals. Kalkaska, Cadillac, Marquette, Big Rapids, Gaylord, and Benzie. Now, by the way, if one of you in those offices, Kalkaska, Cadillac, Marquette, Big Rapids, Gaylord, or Benzie, feel that you could join in on another group, you are welcome to do so. So just let me know if you decided, for example, maybe Benzie wants to join the group from Glen Arbor and Sutton's Bay. Maybe that makes sense. So if you'd like to do that, by all means, but otherwise, you're riding solo for that. Kalkaska, Cadillac, Marquette, Big Rapids, Gaylord, and Benzie. So with that said, I haven't put Escanaba into the mix yet, so just because we're not quite sure how we're going to do that at this point, so we're going to leave Escanaba with a question mark for now. So those are your groups, everybody, and I'm hoping that you, let me make sure I'm not missing any questions here. Those are the question here. Okay, Mike, he's got some things here. All right. Oh, Mike's already got people signed up, and he's already good to go. Awesome. So that's your groups. We're looking for some homework now to be done. So for the June 22nd, Thursday, June 22nd, I'd like you to get together with your group in the next week or few days. Pick where you're going to host it. Is it going to be in an office? Are you going to do a third-party location, which probably doesn't make all that much sense. Maybe it does in some markets, but where is it going to be? And what is your time? And to confirm that who's going to be there and who's going to how you're going to take this on? Are you someone going to take the lead and others going to complement? Are you going to divide and conquer in terms of the presentation, the meet and greet? And then also, how are you going to create a little wow factor? So what are you going to do are you going to have some pop and some beverages? Are you going to have some, munchies or half sandwiches or, that kind of thing, depending on your attendance? So are you going to have a little wow factor? Is there going to be music playing? Are you going to have some banners out there? I want you to kind of think logistically, and from this perspective is, how can I make an impact in someone who walks through the door for that career night that can wow them even before we get into the meat and potatoes of the real estate business? We want to really stand out in the crowd compared to those others in the market. So your homework, again, is to get together at some point this week, figure out the timing and the location, who's doing what, and what that career night looks like kind of in a order of go or on paper scenario. And I'd like designate one of you to email me your agenda, if you will, what your initial thoughts are, and so we can go through that. And then next week, what my goal is to get with individuals to answer, again, further questions, because we don't want to just hand you the stuff. We want to make sure that you know what you're presenting. You can answer the right questions, that we've given you the right information, things that are appropriate for your market. So, again, wanted to give you this week to kind of think about it, because we wanted to start hitting the media next week for 2 weeks to get things ramped up, or at least 10 days. And, again, to make sure that we know exactly who's doing what and what you need and what you don't need and all that jazz. So with that said, let me go back to attendees here and see if I can unmute everybody. Bart and I are wearing Schmidt-Happ and Speedos at career night. What beverages would we use for the pairing? Very nice, Kenny. Well, I'll make sure I don't attend your career night. Let me see if I can unmute everybody. Hang on a second. Carrie, if you're on here, can you figure this out for me and help me? Do I have to go individually?
Yep. I'll start that right now.
Okay. Thank you. I thought maybe I could hit one click and unmute everybody, but apparently not. Mike Heathrow, career night admin. My admin published in the newspaper failed to have a daytime.
That amount, the title company probably require it to be a lawyer.
All right, remember everybody, you are now unmuted. So if you're on the phone, not paying attention, we all can hear you. Oh, you are all now unmuted, so we're getting to the point. We're almost to everybody here. I'm going to try and unmute some myself here. Okay, I think everybody here is unmuted, so beware. And those of you that might be on I'm going to mute yourself too. If we're able to get it off, that said, does anybody have any questions with what we've got going on? I'm muting is up because it's Cindy Bauer, are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Cindy, would you mind just sharing a little bit about what your career nights look like? Because you're one that had some pretty significant success with them. Can I put you on the spot for a minute and share with what your agenda and everything, what you did to give people an idea that may have not done one or kind of new to them?
Okay. So, how my process works is I have contacts that I've contacted. Either they've come to me and expressed interest, and I found somebody, or Mr. Gordon, whatnot, and have a conversation with them, and then I follow up, and I invite them to the career night, and I follow up with an email that has a map with how to get here and the time and all this information. And then the career night usually runs 5:30 to 6:30, and I use the PowerPoint presentation that we've developed. And it sounds like you're incorporating some videos now, which I always incorporated some YouTube videos. You know, why do you want a career in real estate? The history of Coldwell Banker was a banker. and maybe the Adopt Dog or the Halloween the marketing advertising. And when I set up the room, I have a copy of my PowerPoint presentation that I send everybody home with because it also has the information for the board and, costs, just stuff for them to take away. And I usually bring a magazines that we create, like and show them nice examples of a package that I'd like them to put together when they come on board, which would include folders, business cards, stationery, just a group of stationery that I'd like them to get when they come on board so that they can do their business. So I show them examples of all of that. I have the sign, the test signs, the middle signs, all there for them to see and show them what they get when they come on board.
Muted.
Okay, now I'm unmuted again. And I have water. I don't usually have any food or anything. It's 1 hour that crams everything in. It takes that long to go through everything. And then I have a question and answer period, and then we do a little tour of the office. And I let them know that I would like to speak to them again. I also provide the information for the U.S. Broker School so they know what classes to sign up for. And then I tell them we need to have an invitation to do a one-on-one so I can get to know them, particularly the ones I'm really interested in, so that they know they're going to be coming on board here.
Cindy, so let me recap that, because it was a little garbled at the first, but not to your fault. I muted everybody just because there was some feedback. So you use the PowerPoint, you print the PowerPoint so someone can have a takeaway. It's hosted at your office. You use some of the Coldwell Banker videos to talk about the brand and the why Coldwell Banker deal. You actually take them for a tour of the office. I heard that. Did you do food or beverage?
I usually just provide waters. It's an hour.
Right. Okay. And your time was 5:30 to 6:30.
Yes.
And can you tell me how many people you typically got in the Muskegon market? On the average
can get anywhere from 2 to 10 people.
2 to 10 people. And were you doing them monthly?
Yes.
You were. And how many, I'll put you on the spot, how many agents have you guys recruited year to date, do you know?
2, 4.
I'm looking at my,
5 maybe?
I think it's 7. I have 7 on the scorecard.
Yeah.
So, and did the majority of those come from career nights, or again, you had a follow up after a career night with some one-on-ones?
Most of them come from career nights. A lot of them come from. I've had one of them walk through the door. Some of them have called me directly. They're interested in coming to Coldwell Banker. Some of them come from Gordon, and then I invite all these people to the career nights because it's a lot easier to just do one career night than to have 10 one-on-one. But I like to invite the ones that I'm particularly interested in to have another conversation and make sure they get into Gordon's class. Because I want to know more about them. I don't want to waste a bunch of time having somebody who is not going to be here, a bunch of resources and time, I kind of...
Well, what I've heard then, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you prep, you prepare, you put on the presentation, you take them for a tour of the office. It's kind of a pre-date date. You're trying to feel if they're the right person for you. At the end of the career night is just not thanks for coming. The end of the career night is let's set up a time to meet together later. Maybe there's some of those folks that you don't think are the right fit, but you follow those up with a thank you card and or a follow-up appointment to meet one-on-one to really dive into it and get them hooked up with a school if need be. Did I hear that right?
Yep.
Well, that's exactly what I was hoping to accomplish, was to just share that, because I know there's some of our offices that haven't done them or don't have a good experience with them, and I think Cindy, again, we heard that in the past in the Lakeshore, and Cindy sort of turned a blind ear to that. Well, they never work. Well, we've done them in the past, all that kind of stuff, and she religiously put together this program and recruited 7 people year to date in an office that, Muskegon's obviously a big market, but she's done a bang-up job with that. So I guess what I'm trying to accomplish here is to show that it does work if we do spend the time, if we do plan for it like we're suggesting starting today. And I think we can really get some traction with these. And the goal is, again, not just to say thanks for coming and send them on the way, but also to convert them into maybe more detailed conversation. I unmuted everybody again because there was just too much feedback, so my apologies. If you have something you'd like to add, oh, good, Lynn. I'd like you to type it in the question box real quick, and we'll go over a few of those. And then I'm going to unmute Paul Brooks for a second and Ken Kleinrich because they had something on a different topic I think they wanted to bring up. So let me just quickly check here. Can you have Cindy email the PowerPoint she uses? Cindy, I don't know if you're using the updated version, but Melissa just did an updated version. So let's make sure everyone will have that PowerPoint, Lynn, the most up-to-date version of that. And Cindy, did you edit that PowerPoint, get rid of some slides, do some things to make it make more sense for your market?
No, it's pretty good. And but the marketing team can bind those presentations so that they look nice when you give them to the people too.
So there's another idea where it's up to you as the group to coordinate someone getting with marketing to have X amount printed, bound folders available. If you remember, we have those 3-page folders with a pouch in the back that kind of are like a pre-listing package, talks about the brand and the company and a little snapshot of some marketing. And so those are available throughout the company. So if you don't have a stash of those, you're going to need some of those. So again, just to think about some of that kind of stuff. You're welcome, Lynn. No need to talk about. Okay, got it. Jean's here now. Great. So, Jean, we mentioned Launchpad, so we got that out of the way. So, again, want to really put a big emphasis on this career night. I'm really looking for a jazzier name. So if anybody can come up with a jazzier name, we'd certainly like to do that. But you have your teams. You kind of have the marching orders. Next week, Monday, we'll be back into our smaller groups for our calls, for our face-to-faces, even though we're doing these career nights. Don't want to lose sight of having one face-to-face powwow with someone each and every week. It may be one of these folks coming to a career night. It may be someone you've been working on. It may be someone new. Doesn't matter, but having one-to-one face-to-face is the goal. Because, again, we've got 22, whatever today is, June 4th. What's today? June 4th, June 5th. So what do we got? 27 days, almost 4 weeks till the end of the half a year, end of the second quarter. Got to have 88 is our goal. And again, that was your number, all combined. So if you haven't hit your goal, we've really got to double down our efforts in the next 4 weeks to hit that halfway mark. With that said, let me see here. Paul, if you're here, I'm going to unmute you, Paul. And then I'll unmute Ken. Paul, can you hear me? I lost you. Where'd you go?
Can you hear me now?
I gotcha. There you are, bud. Can you hear me, Paul? You're unmuted, buddy.
You know, I'm getting every couple words the whole webinar, and I logged on and logged off, and I do not know why I'm having a problem. I never do, and today is really hit and miss. So I don't know. Does it sound like I'm coming through clear?
We got you clear now. The only reason I muted you is you had mentioned last week that you had a couple things you wanted to mention on this call for your group, and because we're doing a combined deal, I thought we'd take a minute. I know we're running maybe a little long, but what was that you wanted to throw out there, or did you want to hold off on it?
No, we can. I'd be glad to do this too. On our weekly Monday call, I try and come up with a question that our team can discuss to share our experiences and thoughts and suggestions on. And the question of the week this week was, does the managers have their own new agent expectation list that we go through? And I've gotten some emails from some folks. Ken said that he has something. Donna from Marquette had something, and I forget, someone else might have sent me some things. But if you have your own list or your own sheet that you've made up, I would love to have it, and I would be willing to condense it all and send it out to everyone, because I've been really trying to hit hard our expectations when we start. And when I first joined a year and a half ago, I wasn't really doing that as much as I am today. And so it just made me try and think of a question to share and get some ideas from.
You know, Paul, I'm glad you brought it up, because it kind of goes hand in hand with this career night deal. Is, again, we're not just looking for warm bodies here. We're looking for those, and I've described it as this. I think everybody on this call has probably heard me say this before, is we're a company of top producers and those aspiring to be a top producer. I do this in Launchpad. Anytime I'm meeting with new agents, whether it's a one-on-one conversation with a recruit or an experienced agent, quite frankly, or if I'm in a group setting for a training, you got to fit one of those definitions. And aspiring is meeting those expectations. Again, we can't necessarily put minimum standards or those types of things. That's something that, you know, we try to adhere to, but we don't have a hard line, you know, number that you have to sell this many or this much by this date in order to be part of our company. Because there are some valuable people that don't sell a lot of real estate that are really valuable people to our company. But if you're aspiring to be a top producer by doing the things, engaging in the things, you know, participating, seeking out the knowledge, joining sales meetings, being active, not just, you know, showing up in the office, not just staying home in your pajamas, those types of things, in those career nights, in those one-on-one meetings, I'm sharing that definition of top producer or those aspiring to be top producer, and I'm giving examples of others in the company that are. Because, again, we don't want necessarily warm bodies. We want people that are actually going to be contributing members of the team. And, again, by contributing may not necessarily mean a huge producer in terms of sales, but they may be contributing a lot to the team overall in your efforts in the office or whatever the case may be. And I think we've got examples of that throughout the company.
Well, one of the things that made me think of this is when we talked about, one of our questions of the week was about some of us have a 9 o'clock Monday morning, like, no topic meeting that then becomes, we just ask the agents, what do you want to talk about, what happened over the weekend, and stuff like that. And we were saying, well, how do you get folks to come? Well, I've asked people to come personally, especially the experienced ones, because the experienced ones make the meeting better. And then I won't say I'm making, but I'm highly encouraging the newer agents that they have to go to that, and they have to come to a meeting on Tuesday, and they have to go to every lunch and learn we have, and that I'm keeping track of it. And I don't know I know we're independent contractors, and a lot of managers might say you can't do that. Well, maybe you can't, but I'm not saying they have to or you're fired. I'm just saying I really highly suggest you come, and we expect you to be there because this is our expectation in the company. So that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what made me think of it. And I thought I saw one time Bart sent out a expectation thing to me, and this was months ago now, and I never acted on it. So that's kind of what made me think of it.
Oh, it's good food for thought, and I'm glad you brought it up because it kind of goes hand in hand with what we're trying to accomplish here. So, again, food for thought, and if you have ideas or suggestions, again, maybe you can bring it up in your smaller groups next week, or if you need anything in the meantime, you know, reach out to me if you want to have a conversation. Again, office by office, market by market, it might mean a little differently for each person, but it's good food for thought. Thanks, Paul. Let me find Kenny if I have Kenny still here. He had something he had on his agenda, and I don't know what that was. And again, anybody else wants to chime in, just raise your hand or type something in the box here, and I'll unmute you. Kenny, can you hear me okay?
Hi, everybody.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
I'll just build on what Paul had talked about. I sent a copy of a new agent checklist that I use, and it's just my way of trying to assess their urgency. A lot of agents will say, how long do I have to go through all of these things? And I tell them top agents, I don't tell them when they have to do it, but I say the top agents, the ones that really want to make money in real estate, will do this in the first 90 days. I said some people will take a year to do this, and some of these people will tell me, well, I'll do it over the course of a year. Well, it tells me they're not motivated, and I don't bust my tail to find them a desk. But the ones that are interested in getting right at it, it eliminates the blank stares when they're standing at my door going, what do I do next? I said, give me your list. Let me see what you've done. There's a spot for them to put a date on everything that they've completed. Now, it's integrated with Coldwell Banker Launch and Launchpad, and that's taken it to another level. It's just when that first came out, it was really overwhelming to throw that Launchpad booklet in front of somebody, and it was overwhelming for me as a manager to start checking things off. I felt like I was going to have to be tied to the hip with somebody. So it just kind of painted a picture for me, and it leads into goal setting. It leads into all the different tools and kind of, I don't know, it works for me. I included a copy to everybody that was on Paul's list, and then there's also that onboarding booklet that you guys supplied us with, and I'm actually going to try to put my stuff and combine it with that onboarding booklet packet, which was well done.
Great, Kenny. Well, I appreciate that. I think, again, whatever makes sense and what works in an individual office, and I think Ken's an example of where he's taken some of the things and tweaking them to apply them in his particular office based on his circumstances, and I think that's key. Any other questions here? I don't see anybody typing anything in. Let me see if there's any hands up. I think we got everybody. All right, well, we ran a little long today, but I wanted to spend some time to talk about this career night. So, again, really want to amp this up. We've got 4 weeks. I know we can do this. I really want to prove that we can do this. I know Ken Schmidt really wants us to do this, and it's one of his things in his wheelhouse that he's really encouraged and excited about that we're doing it, and I want to make good by that. So if we can do everything we can to put some plan in place to get together with your colleagues that you're joining up with, send me that email. Let's go over that agenda one-on-one. And again, if you could send me what you've done last week so I can add it to the tally sheet. Welcome Escanaba. You get an opportunity for Welcome Escanaba. And again, I've actually talked to several already regarding P&Ls after the holiday weekend. And there's a few more that I still need to get to. So if you're one of those, don't be surprised if you get a call from me just to chat on a couple of those things there. So with that said, final answers here. If anybody has anything, speak now or forever hold your peace.
If you guys can still hear me, if anyone has any expectation list that they created, and even if it's not a full list, if you'd like to send it to me, I will gather it and send it out to everybody.
That'd be great. And the other thing, in front of everybody, I want to congratulate Cindy, because Cindy really has done a bang-up job with Career Nights, and I really appreciate her efforts and with Derek's help to put some emphasis on that. And again, I think her labors were worthy because she's got some fruit to bear afterwards. So with that said, have a great week, everybody. We shall see you at some point in the near future, and I'll be watching.